the Ministry of Aircraft Production at that particular time was Lord Beaverbrook, and he came down to the factory because our factory was a very important factory in the war effort. He immediately made it a reserved occupation for everybody. Nobody was allowed to leave the factory. Nobody was allowed to volunteer for any armed forces whatsoever. There was one exception a little later on when you could volunteer as a tail gunner in the big bombers, but that was a precarious job. They paid them every day because they didn't last very long. But anyway, I stayed until the girls started coming in, and they brought the girls in. And lots of them came in, and they did a sterling job of work, there's no doubt about that. And until we trained the women to do our jobs, we was anchored there because we were producing the materials that built 95% of the Spitfire and probably about the same percentage of the Hurricane. Also, we produced for Fairey Aviation, de Havilland, I can't remember all the names of the aircraft, but there was all aircraft production. We produced the main boom wing spars for the Lancaster and the Halifax. We were producing the main boom for the Halifax, particularly in large quantities, because there was a great number of them being destroyed in the night raids and things like that. So it was a 24-hour, 7 days a week. It never stopped. The factory didn't. And at its peak, I should think there must have been about 5,000 people employed there. And the amount of production that we made was phenomenal. We also had a sheet department that produced the sheet for the cladding. I was late being called up, so I was not called up until the back end of 1945 when the war in Europe finished. But I did my training in the army, and I was on a draft for Burma, and we were assembled in Anglesey in Wales, North Wales, and the 2 nights before we were due to embark, a stray German aircraft, the war hadn't finished by then, and a stray German aircraft bomber came over and he bombed the boat we were going to sail on. So we were stood down, and we were sent on 7 days embarkation leave. And we went, when I got back, I was posted to the Gold Coast Regiment in Ghana, which is now Ghana. It was the Gold Coast then. And I was posted to the 2nd Battalion, the Gold Coast Regiment, and again for Burma. And my RSM sent for me one day and said, "You're going on a course." And I said, "Oh yes." He said, "You're going down to a place called Tessie, which is right down on the coast." He says, "You're going on a 3-inch mortar course." So I said to him, "But sir, I am a trained mortarman," which I was. That was my job in the army. And he said, "The army will tell you what to do. Pack your bag." So I went on the course, and Miss Burma. It was a month's course, and I palled up with a lad from Cambridge area, and we did fairly well. We did. The two of us got good marks from the course. There were 6 of us on the course, and so I was kept there and him as staff instructors. So we didn't see any hostilities at all. And then the war in Japan finished, and when the war in Japan finished, well, then they didn't need any more. So I was given leave to go back to my job, which I did. And then from there we continued as before, but different products now, because no longer were the products for aircraft required. We had to look out for new products in the commercial market, and so jobs changed quite a bit.